In the shadowy corners of the internet, a billion-dollar beast lurks. This beast is none other than the dark web, a mysterious, hidden part of the internet that most of us never see. Imagine an iceberg. The visible internet that you and I use every day is just the tip, while the dark web forms the massive, unseen part below the water's surface. The dark web is not inherently evil, but it's often used as a platform for illicit activities due to its anonymity. It's a place where identities are concealed, transactions are untraceable, and laws are often disregarded. Here, everything from stolen credit card information to illegal substances can be bought and sold with impunity. Now, you might be wondering, how do people pay for these transactions without leaving a trace? The answer lies in cryptocurrency. This digital form of currency, the most popular of which is Bitcoin, is decentralized and often untraceable. It's the lifeblood of the dark web, facilitating these covert operations. Cryptocurrency, like the dark web, isn't inherently bad. It's just a tool, and like any tool, its impact depends on how it's used. But in the wrong hands, it can fuel a billion-dollar beast, enabling criminal activities from ransomware attacks to drug sales. Yet it's important to remember that the dark web isn't an invincible fortress. Law enforcement agencies worldwide are continuously working to unmask the identities hidden behind this digital veil and bring criminals to justice. Every now and then, we hear of significant operations that manage to dismantle parts of this beast, proving that even in the most complex and secretive spaces, crime doesn't pay. But even in the darkest corners, light finds a way to penetrate. Our journey into the depths of the dark web is just beginning. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into this hidden world and unravel the story of one such operation that managed to take down a major player in the dark web's sinister game. In 2017, a new player entered the game, Chip Mixer, a name that would soon reverberate through the criminal underbelly. As the digital age continued to evolve, so did the avenues for illicit activities. In the heart of this evolution, a Vietnamese national, Minh Quoc Nguyen, saw an opportunity. He developed and operated Chip Mixer, a dark web cryptocurrency mixer. This seemingly innocuous tool was, in reality, a sophisticated operation designed to launder money, specifically digital currency. Chip Mixer functioned like a digital washing machine, swirling cryptocurrencies around until their origins were obscured and untraceable. It was a service that found a thriving market amongst those who needed to hide their tracks, and it did not discriminate between its users. From petty cyber criminals to powerful entities, Chip Mixer's services were open to all. Among the most notorious of Chip Mixer's clientele were North Korean hackers and Russian spies, groups known for their cyber warfare expertise and global influence. These included the notorious Lazarus Group and APT-28, also known as Fancy Bear. These groups, infamous for their cyber attacks and espionage, found a reliable ally in Chip Mixer, which helped them funnel their ill-gotten gains. In just a few years, Chip Mixer processed $3 billion, with nearly a third of that linked to criminal activities such as ransomware attacks and drug sales. The sheer scale of the operation was staggering, and it was all orchestrated by one man, Minh Quoc Nguyen. However, as the saying goes, pride comes before a fall. Unbeknownst to Nguyen, his operation had not gone unnoticed. The scale and audacity of Chip Mixer had caught the attention of international law enforcement agencies. Chip Mixer, a dark web titan, was about to face its reckoning. A relentless international law enforcement operation was on the prowl, keyed onto Chip Mixer's scent. The clock was ticking, the stakes were high, and the game of digital cat and mouse had begun. Law enforcement agencies from across the globe joined forces, their sights set on a single target, Chip Mixer, the dark web's notorious cryptocurrency mixer. This was no ordinary operation. It was a meticulously planned, high-stakes mission that would require every ounce of their expertise, resilience, and determination. Deep within the digital labyrinth of the dark web, Chip Mixer thrived, laundromat of the underworld, washing away traces of illicit transactions. It was the invisible hand that stirred the pot of criminal activity, making it almost impossible for law enforcement agencies to trace the true origin of the funds. But the law was relentless, and it was closing in. The operation was a careful dance of precision and strategy. The investigators had to weave their way through a web of deception, carefully navigating the shadowy corridors of the dark web. Every move they made had to be calculated, every lead had to be pursued. The task was akin to finding a needle in a haystack, but they were undeterred. The operation was fraught with challenges. The faceless nature of the dark web, combined with the sophistication of Chipmixer's operations, made it a formidable adversary. The elusive Minh Quoc Nguyen, the Vietnamese national charged with operating Chipmixer, was a master of disguise. His operations, shrouded in layers of encryption, were as elusive as a phantom. But the law enforcement agencies were not to be outdone. They pooled their resources, shared their expertise, and left no stone unturned. They dug deeper, peeling back the layers of digital deceit, inching ever closer to their target. Their determination was unwavering, their resolve unyielding. They knew that every minute counted. Every breakthrough brought them one step closer to dismantling the dark web's notorious money laundering operation. Despite the odds, they persevered. They traced the digital breadcrumbs, followed the money trail, and slowly but surely, they began to unravel the dark web's intricate tapestry of crime. The operation was a testament to their tenacity, a testament to their unwavering commitment to uphold the law. As the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, they slowly started to corner their prey. The walls were closing in on Chipmixer. The relentless pursuit of justice had led them to the doorstep of the dark web's notorious money launderer. The net was tightening, and the beast was cornered. The day of reckoning arrived, a day that would send shockwaves through the dark web. It was a day marked by a relentless pursuit of justice, a day that would forever change the landscape of the dark web. The takedown of Chipmixer, an operation of unprecedented scale, was set into motion. At the heart of this operation was Chipmixer, a dark web cryptocurrency mixer that had been a haven for criminals worldwide. For years, it had churned a murky blend of illicit funds, obfuscating the trail of ill-gotten gains and aiding a host of unsavory activities. From ransomware attacks to drug sales, Chipmixer had laundered over $700 million, with its total processed amounting to a staggering $3 billion. The mastermind behind this operation was Minh Quoc Nguyen, a Vietnamese national, who had been operating Chipmixer since 2017. His clientele included North Korean hackers and Russian spies, such as the infamous Lazarus Group and APT-28, also known as Fancy Bear. But as the net tightened around Chipmixer, the dark web was watching, anticipating, bracing for what was to come. The buzz was palpable, the tension electric. This was not just a takedown, it was a seismic shift that threatened to uproot the very foundations of the dark web's underworld. The international law enforcement operation moved swiftly and decisively. Chipmixer was dismantled, its operations brought to a grinding halt. The shockwave reverberated throughout the dark web, a potent reminder of the long arm of the law, reaching even its darkest corners. The takedown of Chipmixer was a blow to the dark web community, a disruption of the status quo. The beast had been slain, but its influence was far from extinguished. The takedown had sent a clear message to the dark web community, but it also sparked a migration. Users began to flock to alternative platforms like Sinbad, seeking refuge in the wake of Chipmixer's downfall. The future of Minh Quoc Nguyen remained uncertain. With no extradition treaty between the US and Vietnam, his prosecution in the US remained a question mark. But one thing was clear. The takedown of Chipmixer had dealt a significant blow to the dark web's criminal underworld. The beast had fallen, but the echo of its roar still lingered. This was not the end, but merely a new chapter in the ongoing saga of the dark web. The takedown of Chipmixer was a major victory, but it was also a stark reminder of the dark web's resilience and adaptability. As the dust settled, the dark web community was left to grapple with the new reality, a world without Chipmixer. In the wake of Chipmixer's fall, the dark web was in turmoil. The once bustling underworld was left reeling, its inhabitants scrambling to find an alternative to the void left by the dismantling of their trusted cryptocurrency mixer. The illicit transactions, which once flowed like a steady river, were disrupted, leaving the dark web denizens in a state of uncertainty. With the absence of Chipmixer, whispers began to circulate about potential alternatives. One name that emerged from the shadows was Sinbad. As a similar platform offering services akin to Chipmixer, Sinbad was poised to take the reins. The potential migration of users to Sinbad, however, was met with caution. After all, the takedown of Chipmixer was a stark reminder of the risks that lurked beneath the surface of these clandestine operations. Meanwhile, the fate of Minh Quoc Nguyen, the Vietnamese national charged with operating Chipmixer, hung in the balance. His takedown was a significant blow to the dark web's operations, but his journey was far from over. The United States sought his extradition for prosecution, but the lack of an extradition treaty with Vietnam cast a shroud of uncertainty over the proceedings. Would he face the music for his actions, or would he slip through the cracks of international law? The aftermath of Chipmixer's takedown was a tumultuous period for the dark web. A sense of unease pervaded the once unassailable fortress, a stark reminder of the inherent risks that came with operating in the shadows. The ripple effect of this event was a wake-up call, not just for those who dwelled in the dark corners of the web, but for law enforcement agencies worldwide. The fight against digital crime had scored a significant victory, but the war was far from over. The shadowy world had been shaken, but the game was far from over. In the aftermath of a storm, the landscape changes, and so does the dark web. The takedown of Chipmixer, a dark web cryptocurrency mixer, has not only disrupted the dark web landscape, but has also set in motion a new era in the digital underworld. The future of the dark web is as unpredictable as the shifting sands of the Sahara. Yet one thing is clear: the dark web will continue to evolve, and law enforcement will need to adapt and innovate to keep pace with these changes. The dismantling of Chipmixer is a testament to the relentless pursuit of justice by international law enforcement agencies. It is a clear signal that the dark web is not an invincible fortress for illicit activities. However, this victory is just the tip of the iceberg. The dark web, like a hydra, has a way of sprouting new heads as soon as one is cut off. The shutdown of Chipmixer may lead users to migrate to alternative platforms, such as Sinbad. These new platforms may present fresh challenges for law enforcement, requiring new strategies and technologies to infiltrate and dismantle. The battle against dark web operations is a continuous and complex one. The clandestine nature of the dark web makes it a difficult terrain to navigate. Yet the success of operations like the takedown of Chipmixer brings hope. It shows that the dark web, though elusive, is not beyond the reach of justice. The future of the dark web is likely to see more sophisticated technologies and tactics used by both criminals and law enforcement. On one hand, criminals will seek to exploit new technologies to cloak their activities. On the other hand, law enforcement will continue to develop and employ avant-garde tools and strategies to unmask these activities. The future will also see a greater collaboration between international law enforcement agencies. The takedown of Chipmixer is a shining example of global cooperation in the fight against dark web operations. This spirit of collaboration is crucial in tackling the global threat posed by the dark web. In this endless game of cat and mouse, the stakes are high. The dark web is a battleground where the forces of law and disorder clash. It's a world that thrives in the shadows, where anonymity is a shield for illicit activities. But as the landscape of the dark web evolves, so too does the resolve of those who seek to bring light to its shadows. As we look to the future, we must remember that the dark web is not a separate entity. It is a part of the larger internet ecosystem. Therefore, the fight against dark web operations is not just about law enforcement. It's about all of us, every user of the internet, playing our part to ensure that the web remains a space for positive and legal interactions. As the dark web evolves, so too must the forces that seek to bring light to its shadows.